So the first interaction with Sam was pretty successful in my opinion. We played basketball. I told him about the history of the game. I told him about the founder, James Naismith. And from that, and just talking to him in terms of basketball, from a basketball context, I realized that he accepted it and he didn't throw it away. He didn't blow it away and talk about his sport in China. He didn't talk about playing cricket and whatnot. He didn't view cricket as the only sport. So um, since I knew that he was in the acceptance stage, I thought the next thing to do would be to push him into the next stage after acceptance. So what we did is we went to the art museum, and we went to the art museum located in Sinai 5, and we looked at the African American history display. And when we did this, I basically did this to see if I could push him towards the adaptation stage in ethno-relativism, which would be intercultural empathy. And by this, I mean I expected him to, feel a certain type of emotion when he was looking at these pretty emotional art displays in terms of the slave ships and the bodies being piled on top of one another. And yes, pictures like that bring out an emotion. And it actually did. With Zhuang, he was shaking his head. He looked pretty upset and confused about how a human being could treat another human being so lowly and so poorly. And as for myself, um, I just realized that my African American history, well, I had already known that, but I was reminded that my African American history is infused with my American history as well, because my people, some of my ancestors, they came from Africa, but they were brought to America, and that's really where my great grandparents were born. So that's why I say my American history, or my African American history, is infused into my American history. And as for our next activity, I expect to, bring Juwan to a BSA, Black Student Alliance meeting. And I expect to go to a CSA, a Chinese Student Alliance meeting. And my whole reasoning for this is really to learn if I'm in the final stage of ethno-relativism, and if he is actually in the final stage of ethno-relativism, which would be integration. And that's when we can effortlessly and even unconsciously shift between worldviews and cultural frames of reference. So by this we mean we can speak about different cultures and whatnot and give factual information and actually help improve the conversation and make the conversation that much more interesting. For example, with Yuan, in the BSA, we talk about Black Lives Matter and Black events, or we talk about events affecting Black people. So for him to give his input on how he feels about that, and to give some factual statements regarding the African American culture, will be beneficial to the conversation, as well as if I can give some factual information about Chinese culture and what's happening over there at his meeting in order to improve the conversation.